Hey, all you ghoulish gourmets, and welcome to yet another edition of Movie Munchies. Hopefully, this will film correctly. That stupid wireless thing is popping up again, whereas it wasn't when I first started doing these things. So, I don't know if we have a Wi Fi extender, and I don't know if my tablet is trying to connect up to that Wi Fi extender or not. In fact, I was gonna check, but I don't wanna mess this up here. Bear with me just a second, folks. My battery was so low on here, I've got this thing charging that it may be affecting it. So hopefully I'm not freezing and carrying on too much. It doesn't really look like anybody's in here right now. People may, you know, still not be used to my schedule of doing these every other weekend. And so, or you may just be busy. It may be possible that people are busy, but we're going to be making deep red spaghetti today. So, I have already, cooked the spaghetti. I cooked up some meat, which this recipe does not call for meat. And truth be told, probably true Italian spaghetti doesn't have ground beef in it. But I like ground beef in my spaghetti. So I mixed up some ground beef, fried it up in the skillet, and added some garlic and some basil to the meat and cooked that in there real good. Then I added the quick red wine marinara to that and let that simmer for a few minutes. Then I mixed all of that with the cooked spaghetti. So all of that part is done so that one, I wouldn't be on here rambling for a long, long time and trying to fix things. I think this makes these more condensed and stuff if I do it that way. Um, I am going to show you how to make the bruschetta, which will go on top of this. Okay, because I already have my tomatoes and my onions and my roasted red peppers all cut up and ready to go. Okay, so um, I am, before I get to the bruschetta, I am going to talk about how I made the red wine marinara and also, well, I think you guys can handle, cooking pasta. I don't think I have to tell you how to cook a box of spaghetti. Okay. So, what did we, and by the way, this recipe was adapted from the Death for Dinner cookbook that Candace and Chris sent to me. And I really wanted to try this because it's inspired by Deep Red. And Deep Red is one of my favorite Argento films. Okay. So this, without question, was a no brainer for me. So to order to make the quick red wine marinara. And I will preface this by saying that I doubled up on the recipe so that it would make more serving. So for two to four servings, you need a one third cup of Merlot, which is wine. However, I don't like to drink Merlot, so I got some Holland House red cooking wine. Now, if you want to go and get some Merlot, but I don't, like I said, I don't drink Merlot. It's a little too bitter. I like sweeter wines. So, for the cooking, though, you usually want something kind of robust and maybe a little more bitter, but it is definitely, in my opinion, not a good wine to drink. Okay. So I got this Holland House red cooking wine. So I had a third of a cup of it, and we also need a tablespoon of lemon juice. And I don't really know if this is actual Italian lemon juice, but it's called Italia Garden lemon juice. So I put a tablespoon of that in there. And you need a 15-ounce can of Italian style stewed tomatoes. I couldn't find anything where it specifically said Italian style. If you can find that at your grocery store or wherever you do your shopping for your food products, then by all means. But I just got a can of Hunt's stewed tomatoes. You also need a 15-ounce can whole peeled tomatoes, which I was able to get a more Italian style of whole peeled tomatoes. Okay. Make sure they're peeled though. You need 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1 teaspoon of chopped garlic, and this is the garlic that I have. It's the Spice World garlic. This is in olive oil. I think it makes it a little better um, than just the regular. The soy sauce, I just used what I had around the house. This is Kroger brand soy sauce. You can get whatever soy sauce that you like. Or we also need 2 tablespoons of agave syrup, and this is what I have used. This is organic agave in the raw. It is organic agave nectar. Now the recipes in this book use that a lot. So if if you have this book or thinking about getting this book or using the recipes that I talk about when I use the book, you might want to invest in some agave of some sort. Okay. You need a fourth of a cup chopped fresh sage. Now I didn't have fresh sage, but if you want to get some fresh sage at the store, by all means. So I just kind of put, I don't know, a couple of teaspoons of this ground sage. And they also suggest a fourth of a cup of chopped fresh rosemary. And what I did again was use about 2 teaspoons of these rosemary leaves. So, but everything's always good when it's fresh. I just unfortunately did not have the fresh. Okay. So what you're going to do once you get your all your ingredients together, you're going to in a food processor, or in my case I use my blender because I don't own a food processor. So I set my blender for the puree setting, and I blended that all up for 2 minutes. Okay. Then you transfer that mixture to a medium saucepan and you heat over medium heat for 15 to 20 minutes at a slow boil, stirring frequently so it don't stick, right? Okay. So that's all you need to do for the red wine marinara. Okay. And like I said, get a box of your favorite spaghetti, and I apologize, folks, if y'all see flies. I am so sorry. It must be getting ready to rain or something. Like there were flies congregating at our back door, and I bet I killed 2 or 3 of them, and they're still flying around here. I'm gonna try to keep them from lighting on the food or anything like that. But if you see me waving, it's these house flies, not fruit flies, but it's house flies, and they're annoying enough. Okay, so I trust that almost everybody knows how to cook pasta. So I'm not going to go into detail about cooking the pasta, okay? But basically, cook your spaghetti according to the package instructions. They say drain and rinse with cold water. I didn't rinse with cold water because I never do that with my spaghetti. Now, if I'm making a pasta salad, I will rinse it with cold water because you want a pasta salad to be cold. Okay. But you can do that if that's something that you do quite often. Okay. Now, um, I am going to bring up the haunted food cam here, and I am going to make it the solo layout. And I'm sorry that it is so blurry. That probably has to do with my wireless not acting correctly. Hopefully, it'll clear up a little bit more so you can see what I have here. So we have um, a half a cup of chopped cherry tomatoes. And in my case, it's a whole cup because I was doubling up on the recipe. A fourth cup of chopped scallions or green onions. Okay. Um, a fourth of a cup of chopped roasted red peppers. And the brand of red peppers that I used, and you don't have to use this, but it's Raconto red peppers roasted. Just comes in a jar. Okay, and I just cut those up. Um, now, um, also what you need a tablespoon of olive oil, a teaspoon of balsamic vinegar, a teaspoon of the agave syrup, a half a teaspoon of sea salt, and a tablespoon of lemon juice, which I am going to show you how to mix all this stuff up. Now, like I said, I already have my tomatoes and my scallions and my roasted red peppers all cut up and ready to go for this. Okay. So to make this in a medium bowl, which I've got my bowl right here, um, we're going to combine the cherry tomatoes, the scallions, the red peppers, the olive oil, balsamic vinegar, the agave, the sea salt, and the lemon juice. Okay. So let's go ahead and do that, shall we? Let's put our tomatoes in here. All right. We're going to put our scallions in here. And we're going to put our roasted red peppers in there. Okay. Clean hands, though, folks, right? And we're also going to get the rest of our ingredients that we need here. And keep in mind, too, that I am doubling up on this recipe, okay? So that's, if you have less than that, then don't worry because you're probably going directly by the instructions, okay? So we need a tablespoon of olive oil if you're making a single, or a 2 to 4 serving. But if you're doubling up on it, um, what did I say? Sorry about that. Tablespoon. So I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Okay. Whoops. And I don't want to pour it over the spaghetti. Okay. Put that in there. And we also need a teaspoon, or in my case, 2 teaspoons of balsamic vinegar. Clean that out because you might be thinking, what in the heck is in there? There was actually some leftover garlic. Probably wouldn't hurt anything. Okay. That aside. Everybody must be busy today because I saw somebody come in and go back out, and now I don't have anybody again. So maybe it's not such a hot idea for me to have these every other weekend because maybe people forget and stuff. I don't know. All right, so we need a teaspoon, or in my case, 2 teaspoons of the agave syrup. We're gonna do this. Or perhaps maybe people weren't interested in watching me make deep red spaghetti. It could be. Or maybe they couldn't get on because maybe they're having internet issues. Or maybe I looked so bad at first because I was having wireless issues, that they were like, oh, screw this, I ain't watching this. You know. So I need, the recipe calls for half a teaspoon of sea salt. I'm going to be actually using a whole teaspoon of sea salt. And then we need, in my case, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. If you're making just the 2 to 4 servings, you will just use 1. Right? All right. Let's get this mixed up, our bruschetta. All right. Give this a good mix here. And all those yummy juices and all of that. You know, if you want to chop your tomatoes and your pepper and even your scallions up more, feel free. I'm always in a hurry, so sometimes I may not cut mine up as fine as other people do, right? Okay. So, we have our bruschetta mixed up. I'm actually going to exit the solo layout, but I'm going to leave that on there so you guys can see that. Okay, so you may be wondering what my pasta actually looks like. Now, if you mix all the stuff up, like they actually tell you to toss the spaghetti in the marinara sauce that you've made, okay? But I added meat, right? That's your preference. If you don't want to add meat, that is perfectly fine. But if you do, keep in mind that it might be a little watery at first. Never fear, let it sit. It will thicken upon sitting because mine's already thickened up quite nicely. Okay. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get me a bowl out here. I should get me some proper pasta bowls, I think. And I'm going to scoop out some of this spaghetti. Okay. Dang flies. So sorry, folks. So we're going to scoop out some spaghetti here. And then I'm going to take the spaghetti over here so that you can actually see what the spaghetti looks like. That it doesn't look all gross or anything, right? Okay. And then we're going to put some of our bruschetta over top of this, okay? You can put as much or as little as you want, all right? Okay, I think that looks nice. And I'm going to make this the solo layout again so you can see that a little better. lower that a little bit. Trying to keep these flies away because that's so gross to have flies around. I tried to get rid of them, folks, before I did this. Um, so there is your deep red spaghetti. Um, Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to exit the solo layout on this. And I'm going to make myself the solo layout because I'm actually going to taste this, okay? So let me get a fork out here. And you can add cheese or whatever you want to your spaghetti. Ooh, that's good. And this has a very unique taste to it, folks. It to me, it does not taste like your traditional spaghettis that you would make. It's got kind of a sweetness, but yet a savoriness. They actually refer to it as a spicy sweet pasta dish. So I'm going to set that over there. I'm going to finish that here in just a bit. But I just wanted to show y'all that I'm not falling over dead. Now, I do apologize for any technical issues, where I was freezing and stuff. I'm sure that I'm going to find that out later, that I'm freezing quite a bit. That may make sense why people were not on here today. I apologize. It's probably to do with the battery power not being up on my tablet, or we simply need to restart our router back there. But I generally don't like to do that when Steve's either watching TV and he needs to use the wireless or something. He's watching something streaming back there or whatever. I don't like to spontaneously just restart the router on him. So I hope you guys and gals that were in here enjoyed this. I hope you were able to get something out of it. I hope I wasn't freezing too much. Apologies again for any technical difficulties, unforeseen, of course. But I will be returning tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time for the initiation watch along. So be sure to tune in for that. And I'm off like a dirty shirt. I know it's kind of gross to use while I'm talking about food and stuff. But before I go, as always, I want to remind everybody to be kind to one another and blaze that trail. Y'all have a fantastic rest of your Sunday. I hope to see everybody at the watch along at 7 p.m. Eastern time tonight for the initiation. And I'm out of here, folks. I'll see y'all next time.